I questioned my government on 9/11 because as you get in, for most lay people out there, they accept what they hear on TV, they accept the government's explanation, but once you start getting in and studying what actually happened that day, there's a lot of problems.
Bottom line, what are you saying?
I believe if our government didn't actually participate in it, that they certainly knew it was going to happen and allowed it to happen.
That is mind-blowing.
Wow.
And you're going to write a book backing that up.
Yeah.
Now, what would be the purpose of allowing it to happen?
Well, we're in 2 wars, aren't we? That we would have never been in.
And
that Halliburton. And how much money has Halliburton made in the war?
That's
how much
true.
money has Blackwater made in the war? People fail to realize that there are war profiteers out there.
So you're saying that you're talking about treason. You're talking about who are you accusing of treason in your next book?
About mass murder.
Yeah.
Have you ever received any kind of death threats yourself for these theories and going on about this stuff? Because you're taking pretty seriously. You were the governor.
I haven't received any death threats over 9/11 and my viewpoints on questioning it. But when I was in office, I received 1 a week.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
And what precautions did you take when you would receive these death threats?
I took none, but my security forces, who are the state troopers of the state of Minnesota, they take many. They take every death threat totally. 99% of them, Howard, are all bullshit.
Right.
But the minute you decide that this one isn't, that'll be the real one.
And you still have a security detail because you're an ex-governor?
Nope. The day that I left office, I lost it all. You're naked.
You could have had a security. No? That's it. It's over.
That's it.
Next day. Boom.
Next day.
Not even in Minnesota. If you're in Minnesota, you don't get it.
No.
Is that a tough adjustment for you? And talk about the psychological adjustment of going from being this powerful guy, your every word is really
here to go teach at Harvard.
Right.
Which, and then I went on my adventure to Mexico.
Right.
Because I thought
Which you love.
Oh.
You love Mexico.
I love it. I live, Howard, an hour from pavement and an hour from electricity.
An hour? You don't have electricity?
Not where I live. Down
Come
there.
on, stop.
I have electricity. I'm completely solar.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I thought he had a bike and he was just...
No. I get all my electricity.
I thought you had a windmill.
No, I'm solar. It's Baja. You don't need a windmill. You need the sun.
How do you watch The Real Housewives of New Jersey?
I don't.
You don't have a TV?
Yes, I get everything. I get more than you get because down there you can get pirate boxes and you get everything.
You get illegal cable down there.
Well, only because get this. Now here's an interesting dilemma. You know the satellite boxes?
Sure.
It's illegal to take them out of the country. Now why? Why can't I use the box that I use in Minnesota? Because I drive.
Right.
Carry it with me to Mexico. It's the same satellite. I pay for the legal box with a bogus address up here.
Right.
And then they cut me off, and they cut my stations off, so they didn't want my money. I paid every month. They made my money, and they decided now they don't want my money. And I thought, what kind of business is that? That doesn't want your money.
What about what's going on now with this flu? Are we taking
Are you
precautions?
worried about it? You down
When
there?
you came into the country from Mexico, do they test you?
Yeah, let me say this. I believe the Mexican government has done an outstanding job doing what they can. They closed all the soccer down. They shut the schools down for a week. When I left to go to the airport, you had to fill out a thing answering questions of if you had any symptoms, and they actually had a thing where they would touch your arm and take your temperature.
No kidding.
And they wrote it down on your boarding pass, and if your temperature was too high, you ain't getting on the plane.
You're not afraid of swine flu, are you?
Well, you can't be afraid of things like that.
You don't walk around with any fear? Do you feel fear? You don't walk around worrying about...
Well, I used to fear heights till I became a SEAL.
How did you get over that?
Jumped out of 34 planes.
Take care of it.
Yeah, but I mean but it's still hard to do, right? But you had to do it.
I don't like heights today. I'm still. But
when you jumped out of a plane, you had a parachute on that you pull yourself. There's no instructor riding piggyback.
No.
Yeah.
And the highest was 12,000 feet.
The first time you
that's nothing.
The first time you jumped from a plane, did you have a guy strapped to you who teaches you how to do this?
No.
You were solo?
No. But you're doing static line jumps then.
What does that mean?
That's where your parachute's hooked onto a line in the plane, so that when you jump, it pulls your chute out. Like you see the Army Airborne. That's jump school.
And
then later you learn free fall.
Did you have to be pushed or did you jump?
You jump.
Did you vomit? I would vomit.
No, but anyone that tells you they're not scared is a liar.
Did you ever see any of your buddies who were learning how to parachute jump and for some reason panic, not pull their chutes and die?
No.
Wow.
That's, you know.
Those are real men.
Well, the average...
You look at me like a woman, don't you?
Can you make a real man?
You look at me like I'm a woman.
Not a bit.
Do I look female to you? Because compared to these men you serve?
No.
Do you think you could turn me into a real man?
Do you think?
No. It's impossible.
No.
You can't make a real man.
How dare you?
You're already a real man, Howard.
Yes,
it's just that some of us are different than others. I personally... I find that I need to defy death at times to enjoy life.
I'm sure you're better at banging a broad than I am. You got to be. I mean, look at the size of you. My God. I mean, in Vietnam, you had your share of hookers, and you've told me
Oh,
this.
my God, he did?
Yeah.
No, not in Vietnam.
Where? Well,
Philippines.
Thailand. Oh, Philippines. Jesus Christ. I wonder what went on with you.
Well, Subic Bay in those days, you'd walk out the main gate, and in a 1-mile stretch of road was 350 bars and 10,000 girls every night.
Nothing wrong with hookers.
Now, imagine if you're 19.
About these things in the Philippines where you see this gorgeous hooker, they're good looking, you take them home, they got a penis.
They teach you in the Navy SEALs how to tell a boy.
That's in Honolulu? That happened to you?
No.
Never.
But I had a friend, anybody in the old days, if anything in a miniskirt on Hotel Street was a guy.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And sometimes you couldn't tell the difference, which is unbelievable.
Oh, these guys, their girls should be jealous of some of their legs.
Really?
You look and go, that's, well, my friend said that's a guy, and I go, that's a guy?
You don't miss the Filipino girls, the whole excitement of that?
No. I grew beyond that when I got home, and Howard, I've been married it'll be 35 years this summer.
Jeez. And you're happily married. You ever use any of these sex toys, adult videos, any of this stuff with your wife?
No, I don't have to.
You don't? No. It's still as hot and as exciting?
Yeah, as ever.
Really?
Yeah, at least 3 times a week.
Hey, so here's what I got to talk to you.
Nice.
3 times a week still?
Yeah.
After 35 years.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful.
All positions.
All of them. My wife is going to kill me now because she said, she says, I don't mind you doing Howard, but Howard's always got to turn everything to dirty sex.
Well, it's true.
And I said, well, that's Howard.
But aren't you celebrating something wonderful? The fact that you've been married this long.
Yeah.
You're a famous guy. You certainly could be one of these guys gets lots of divorces, lots of women, all this kind of stuff. And, I mean, and you're saying you find your wife so attractive you have to bang her 3 times a week.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's very good. And this is all with her.
Sometimes more.
More.
Now,
Good
what
Lord.
do you do? What kind of
Disgusting.
advice did you give your kids? Because you've had a wild single life before you married and had a family.
Yeah. Well, what do I tell my kids about
What's the tell?
Do you take them to a prostitute for their first experience? No, you don't do that?
He's got class. What's the matter? Robin, you
You point them in the right direction.
Robin, you've been with Howard far too long.
Yeah, you got to go take a rest.
You need a break.
Governor, let me tell you something. She's been taking a lot of enemas. Let me tell you something. She's been taking a lot of enemas and colonics. Are you against enemas and colonics? I am. That's waterboarding your ass.
I've never thought about it.
That's ass-boarding.
You would never put a tube in your ass and put water up there, would you?
I don't think so.
That's what I told
You
Robin.
call yourself a seal.
It's never really, this is the first time it's entered the conversation.
Governor, so the last time you were here, you told a story about when you were a wrestler.
Yeah.
And you decided that you wanted to unionize the wrestlers, and Hulk Hogan didn't go along with it.
Yeah, he ratted me.
Right. So Hulk was here.
Yeah.
And I brought it up to him.
Yeah.
And oh boy. And here's the weird thing. I know Hulk. He seems like an honest guy to me. Like he's telling the truth. And you seem like a super honest guy to me. You're saying no, he's not an honest guy. You want to hear his response to when I brought it up?
Probably not.
You don't want to hear
it.
it.
But let me just say this to you, Howard.
He even said he would call in when you were here, but I didn't, I wasn't going to do that.
Is that believable?
See, he was claiming...
Is that believable?
He doesn't... He says you took them.
Oh.
He says that you're lying. He says that then he made sexual accusations.
No. I took them, yes. I admitted taking them back in 1988.
Right.
I did a poster that went to all the high schools saying, I've tried steroids. Stay away from them. They're dangerous.
Right.
And Hogan, if you wanted steroids, who do you think you bought them from?
Really? And he said it was all bullshit about the union thing. He did claim also. What else did he claim?
He claimed...
he claimed the governor was... You were at Plato's Retreat.
I did go there.
Right. So you never...
But that was my gimmick. Right. I went there to get the dangling T-shirt so I could offend people in the ring that said Plato's Retreat on it. Yeah, I went there.
Right.
You didn't take your wife and go wife swapping.
No.
Yeah,
That's what
he was claiming that.
So he said you were always on. He said you were on Quaaludes a lot.
He said you took a lot of Quaaludes. You know,
Smoked pot with him
and
in
I
a
said,
hotel.
I said, I've had the governor.
Oh, I've smoked pot.